You remember your first day of school. You remember the color of the backpack. You remember the feeling in your stomach as you walked through that door. You are absolutely certain it happened exactly that way. But here's the problem. It probably didn't. Not because you were lying, not because something went wrong with your brain, but because your memory is not a recording. It never was. And the moment you understand what it actually is, you will never trust a single memory the same way again. Most people assume memory works like a camera. You experience something. Your brain captures it. Later, you press play. The footage rolls. What you see is what happened. This is one of the most widespread beliefs about the human mind, and it is almost entirely wrong. Your memory is not a playback system. It is a reconstruction engine. Every single time you remember something, your brain is not retrieving a stored file. It is rebuilding the experience from scratch, using fragments, filling the gaps with logic, emotion, and expectation, and then presenting the result to you as if it were real. The terrifying part? You cannot tell the difference. Elizabeth Loftus figured this out in the 1970s. She was a young psychologist at the University of Washington, and she wanted to know how reliable human memory actually was under pressure. So she ran a simple experiment. She showed participants footage of a car accident. Then she asked them questions. Some participants were asked how fast the cars were going when they smashed into each other. Others were asked the same question, but with the word hit instead of smashed. That one word changed everything. The participants who heard smashed reported significantly higher speeds, and a week later, when asked if they had seen broken glass in the footage, the smashed group was far more likely to say yes. There was no broken glass. Loftus had planted a false memory with a single word. This is called the misinformation effect, and it is not a glitch. It is a feature of how your memory operates. Think about the last time you and someone else argued over what happened at a specific moment. You are both certain. You both remember it clearly. But your versions are different. You probably assumed one of you was wrong. The truth is stranger than that. You were both remembering something real. You were just remembering different reconstructions of the same event. Here is why. When something happens to you, your brain does not store the experience whole. It breaks it apart. The sights go one place, the sounds go another. The emotions go somewhere else entirely. These fragments are distributed across different regions of your brain, tagged and filed separately. When you want to remember, your brain gathers those pieces and assembles them. But the assembly is not neutral. It is influenced by everything you have felt and learned since the event occurred. Your current mood, your current beliefs, the conversations you have had about it, the stories you have told yourself. All of it bleeds into the reconstruction. Frederick Bartlett showed this almost a century ago. In 1932, he gave British university students a Native American folktale called The War of the Ghosts and asked them to read it and then recall it later. When they recalled it, they had unconsciously edited out details that felt foreign to them and replaced those details with things that made more sense according to their own cultural framework. They were not trying to lie. They were remembering. But their memories had been shaped by who they already were. This is what your brain does constantly. It does not store the world as it is. It stores the world as it understood it at the time, filtered through everything it already believed, and then updates that understanding every time you remember it. That last part is the part that most people never hear. Every time you remember something, you change it. Neuroscientist Karim Nader discovered this in 2000. He showed that when a memory is recalled, it becomes temporarily unstable. In this window, the memory is vulnerable. It can be altered before it reconsolidates. What this means is that the act of remembering is also the act of rewriting. Each retrieval rewrites the file slightly, and the version that gets stored again is not the original. It is the edited version. You have been editing your own past every time you thought about it. Think about a story you have told many times. A funny moment, a hard time, a turning point. The first time you told it, it was close to what happened. But you noticed which parts made people lean in, which parts got a laugh, which parts made you look good or made the other person understand. And so, subtly, unconsciously, you told it that way next time, and the next time. And over years, the story became the memory. The performance became the past. This is not weakness. This is not dishonesty. This is how human memory evolved. Your brain was not designed to be an archive. It was designed to keep you alive. Storing every detail of every moment is expensive, slow, and mostly useless. What your brain needed to do was extract meaning, learn from experience, build a working model of the world that could predict what comes next. Exact recall was never the point. Useful recall was. But useful recall comes at a cost, and that cost is accuracy. Julia Shaw, a memory scientist at University College London, has spent years demonstrating just how far this can go. In her research, she was able to implant entirely false memories of crimes that never happened. She guided participants through a series of interviews, mixing real childhood events with fabricated ones. By the third interview, around 70% of participants had developed detailed, confident memories of committing acts they had never committed. They described the events with emotion, with texture, with certainty. They were not acting. They genuinely remembered something that had never occurred. Let that sit for a moment. 70% of people, given the right conditions, will build a vivid memory of something that never happened. This is not a rare vulnerability. This is the baseline. This is how your memory works by default. Now think about your childhood. You likely have a handful of clear, specific memories from your earliest years. A birthday, a moment with a parent, a trip somewhere. Researchers call the period before roughly age 3 or 4 the infantile amnesia window. Your brain was not yet capable of forming long-term episodic memories with the kind of structure adults use. And yet many adults report vivid memories from age 2 or even earlier. Studies consistently show that a significant portion of these early memories are false, built from photographs, from family stories, from things you were told so many times that your brain eventually generated a scene to match the narrative. The memory feels real because the emotion is real. The emotion came first. The scene was built around it. This is what makes memory so disorienting when you really look at it. You do not doubt your memories because they feel genuine. The feeling of genuine is part of what your brain generates during reconstruction. False memories feel exactly like true ones. There is no internal signal, no flicker, no asterisk that appears when what you are remembering is not what actually happened. And this matters far beyond the personal. It matters in courtrooms. Eyewitness testimony has long been considered among the most powerful forms of evidence. And yet, it is also among the most unreliable. The Innocence Project, which uses DNA evidence to exonerate wrongfully convicted people, has found that in the United States, mistaken eyewitness identification was a contributing factor in more than 69% of wrongful convictions, later overturned by DNA. People went to prison because someone remembered them, someone who was certain, someone who was not lying. Memory does not need to be false to be dangerous. It only needs to feel true. So where does this leave you? You have a past. You carry it with you. It shaped who you are, what you fear, what you love, how you move through the world. And most of it is a story your brain has been quietly rewriting for years. Does that mean none of it matters? Does that mean you should distrust everything you think you know about your own life? No. It means something more interesting than that. It means your past is not fixed. It means that the story you tell yourself about who you are and where you came from is not locked in stone. The brain that edited your memories in one direction can, with awareness and effort, help you reconstruct them differently. Not to lie to yourself, but to notice where the story has calcified in ways that hurt you, where you are certain about something that may not be as solid as it feels. Research on narrative therapy, pioneered by Michael White and David Epstein, shows that people can change their relationship to painful memories, not by erasing them, but by revisiting them with new understanding, allowing the reconstruction to shift. The memory is still there, but the meaning it carries, the version that gets filed away after each retrieval, begins to change. Your memory is not your past. It is your brain's best current guess about your past, updated every time you think about it, shaped by who you are right now, which means who you are right now matters more than you thought. Tonight, you will think about something that happened to you. You will be certain of it. You will feel it as clearly as you felt it the first time. And somewhere in that moment of remembering, your brain will be quietly, invisibly, doing what it has always done. Building the story one more time. Just slightly different from the last. Just slightly more like who you are becoming. You remember your first day of school. You remember the color of the backpack. You remember the feeling in your stomach as you walked through that door. And maybe it happened exactly that way. Or maybe your brain built you the version of that morning you needed to carry with you. Either way, it is yours. You just know now that it always was.